First thing that I want to make abundantly clear is this note right here at the top. Okay, you're going to see the same note at the top of your test tomorrow. Show all work and steps for full credit. Answers with no work shown on the test will receive no credit. Let me show you some examples of what I don't want to see. Here's a good one. Or should I say a bad one? I gotta look at 6 periods to find that. Here we go. Take a look at that. Darius, take a look at that. Does that look like all the steps that we've been working on for the last 2.5, 3 weeks? Absolutely not. Is there answers there? Is there x equals a number? Yeah. How much credit would these 6 questions get, you think? 0 credit. All right? Let me show you another example. See the difference? Yeah. That looks exactly like what we've been doing. There's a line through the equal sign. There's horizontal lines under each inverse operation. The answer's boxed up. We're doing inverse operations on both sides, clearly showing each step along the way. All right? Full credit, no credit. They both got x equals 5. I got the answer right. It is not the same. I got x equals 7, just like they did. It is not the same thing. This doesn't show me anything. All right? I've stressed the importance this whole unit that it's all about the process. It's the steps we take to get our answer, not the answer itself. Obviously, the answer being right is important, but I care much more about the steps. All right? So if you have all the steps but get a wrong answer, you're going to get way more credit than no steps and a right answer. All right? I just want to make that clear before we start talking about this. Some of you may be like, oh, I can do all these steps in my head. Great. If you can do it in your head, that means you can also write them down. So that's what you're going to need to do. All right? Number 1, nice and simple. 2-step equation. This is a Math 7 question here. I want to get my x all by itself. Right? One way we can think about this is asking ourselves, what are we doing to x right now? It looks like we are multiplying it by 3 and adding 12. So we just got to do the opposite. The opposite of adding 12 is subtracting 12. We want to mirror that on both sides like that. 12 minus 12 goes away, and I'm left with 3x equals 24. Now we see, okay, I'm multiplying x by 3. The opposite of multiplying by 3 is dividing by 3. So that the 3's can cancel out, and 24 divided by 3 gives me 8. That's what I need to see on a question like number 1 if you'd like to receive full credit. All right? Number 2, just kind of a vocabulary review more than anything. Identify the following from this expression. We've got 4 minus 5x plus 2x plus 7. We've got 4 terms that we need to identify, 2 sets of like terms, 2 coefficients, 2 constants. So we got to know, we got to know what those different things are and what they mean. 4 terms. My first term is a constant term of 4. I can also put that down here with the constants. My second term, negative 5x. That's going to be a variable term. My third term, 2x, another variable term. and my fourth term 7, which is again a constant. So numbers that are all by themselves are constants. Variable terms have a number in front of x. What do we call that number in front of x? A coefficient. So what are my two coefficients here? -5 and 2. Not -5x and 2x. Please keep that in mind. That would be wrong. Coefficient is the number in front of x, not the x itself. For my like terms, I'm going to have two constant terms, which again, like we said, were 4 and 7, and two variable terms, -5x and 2x. Now, for the like terms, we do want to include the x because we're talking about the entire variable term itself, not just the coefficient or the number in front. What questions can I answer about that? Because I know that's a little different than what we've been doing, but it still ties into what we talked about. Number 3, Bill and Ted are signing up for internet. This is from our last lesson, Equations in the Real World. Bill's provider, Dish, is charging him a $40 installation fee plus $25 per month. Right away, I know that Bill's numbers are 40 and 25. Ted's provider, DirecTV, isn't charging an installation fee, but charges $55 per month. Interesting. How many months will it take before Bill and Ted pay the same amount for their services? This is just like worksheet 43, which you guys will be getting back before you leave today. Now, Bill's numbers are 40 and 25. Which of those two numbers is going to be my M? 25? What about 25 tells you that's my M? Per, exactly. $25 per month is a repeating number. It's always going to be my M, my unit rate. So what's 40 going to be? Your B. Now, Ted, the only number I saw for Ted was 55. Is that my M or my B? My M, $55 again per month. So what's Ted's B equal to? Boom. DirecTV isn't charging an installation fee, so that one-time payment is $0. We could write both equations. Bill, y is equal to 25x plus 40. Ted's equation, y is equal to 55x. If we want to find out how many months, we know that my answer is going to equal some number of months. We're going to set these equations equal to each other and solve for x. 25x plus 40 equals 55x. So there's two different ways we could go about doing this. If we want to stick to the script, we want to follow our steps exactly, we're going to start by subtracting 55x from both sides. These 55x's go away, leaving us with 0. 25x minus 55x is negative 30x plus 40. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Is it? Yeah. Then we bring 40 over to the right, minus 40 minus 40. We get negative 30x equals negative 40. And we divide by negative 30. Just following the 7 steps from our notebook. Negative 40 over negative 30 equals 4 over 3 months. Or 1 1/3 months, if you want to put it in that kind of verbiage, 1 1/3. Just basically what, 5 weeks? No, it's like 5.5 weeks, something like that. I don't think the question like this is going to be a fraction though, so don't worry about that. But if it is, just leave it as a fraction. That's your safest bet. We get 4/3 months. Number 4, same kind of idea, except we're presented in a table format. Trent is walking dogs with a $12 pickup charge and $2 per mile. Sabrina's walking dogs with a $5 pickup charge and $3 per mile. Trent's numbers are 12 and 2. Sabrina's are 5 and 3. Which of these numbers are my M's? 2 and 3. Per mile. That's your M. So Trent's equation, 2x plus 12, is going to equal Sabrina's equation, 3x plus 5. It's really easy for you to do something like 2x plus 3 equals 12x plus 5. You got to understand which direction the table's going, because it might be flipped tomorrow, I don't know. Bring my variable term to the left. Bring my constant term to the right. Negative 1x equals negative 7. Divide by negative 1. X equals 7, what? 7 dogs? 7 miles, that's right. How do we know what my units are? Well, the question says, find the number of miles. We just solved it, and we found 7. Therefore, we found the number of miles it'll take before Trent and Sabrina are making the same amount of money for their dog walk. It's a lot of miles. What time we got? 26? Yeah. We got time. Down to number 5. Now, the rest of these 8 problems are all the same thing, just different numbers, right? Solve the equation for the variable. Identify how many solutions. So we're just doing our 7 steps over and over and over again. If you forgot what that looks like, it's right here in our notes. If you don't have these in your notes, it's in Google Classroom. If we go back to, what was it, Tuesday? 7 steps to solving equations. Look at that, the note video is right there. So whether you were absent or not, you can get those copied down. It's going to be extremely detrimental or harmful for your test if you don't have these steps written down in your notes from Tuesday. All right. So with number 5, step 1 says I want to distribute. I'm going to do that with this 5. Yeah, Ross? Sure. Okay, I'm going to distribute my 5 to my x and my negative 1. I'm going to get 5x minus 5 on the right, 5x plus 4 on the left. It's the one step you don't actually have to show. I know you guys can multiply in your heads. You can do that. You don't have to write out 5 parenthesis x minus 5 parenthesis 1. As long as you draw the little arrows, understand that you know what distributing is and what it looks like, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring our variable term to the left, again following our 7 steps. These 5x's cancel out. What happens to these 5x's on the left? They cancel out as well, leaving me with 4 equals negative 5. Is that true or is that false? That's false. 4 does not equal negative 5. So what's my answer? No solution. I'm going to bubble that in, and that's all we need to do. No solution there. Over to 6. Step 1 says distribute. I don't see anything to distribute. No fractions to break in step 2. Step 3 says I want to combine like terms. Well, I've got an x, and a constant. So I'm going to start by combining these x terms together. 4x minus 3x is 1x, plus 7 equals 6. There's no variable term to bring to the left, but there is a constant term to bring to the right. I'm going to do the opposite of plus 7, which is minus 7. And I get 1x equals negative 1. Now when I have 1x, do I need to write that 1 in front of x? No. I can just write x equals negative 1, one solution. Each of these big box problems on the test are going to be 5 points. 1 point for the correct solution. Selection on the bottom. 1 point for the answer. 3 points for all the steps.
Could you go back to the other one?
The video will be in Google Classroom. We got to keep going forward. You can watch it tonight. Number 7 on the back. We've got fractions to break. No distributing to do, luckily. But we do have to break this fraction up. Darius, what's the first step when we're fraction breaking? That would be step 2. We'll get to that. What's my first step, Ayana? Make everything a fraction. Which term here is not a fraction? 2x. What can we put under that 2? A 1. The reason why that is step 1 is because if we don't do that and we find the LCD, we're not going to include this term in our multiplying. I've got a 1, 4, 8, 16. What's my LCD? 16. Thank you. 8 is a factor of 16. 4 is a factor of 16. 16 is my LCD. So I'm going to go term by term and figure out what I need to multiply them all by to get a 16 on the bottom. For my first term, I have an 8. What can I multiply 8 by to give me 16? 2 over 2. My next term is a 1. What can I multiply the 1 by? 16 over 16. What can I multiply this 4 by? 4. Good. I'm going to squeeze it in there. And my last term already has 16, so we're good. We don't need to rewrite the whole thing out. We can cross out our denominators like so, leaving me with 2x plus 32x equals 12x minus 22. Excuse me. All right, step 2 is done. We've broken our fractions up. Step 3 says to combine like terms. Is there any like terms for us to combine? 2x is on the left. Beautiful. What does 2x plus 32x give me? 34x. Step 4 says bring my variable term to the left. What can I do on both sides to accomplish that? Minus 12x. Minus 12x. 34 minus 12 is 22x equals negative 22. There's no constant to bring to the right. I'll skip step 5. Step 6 is divide by the coefficient, which here is 22. X is equal to negative 1. Is it again? Yep, 2 in a row. What are the odds of that? 1, many, or no solutions here? 1. Letter equals number, 1 solution. Number 8. No distributing to do, no fraction breaking to do. There's a whole bunch of terms. I know I need to combine at least some of them. What can I combine on the left? 10 and negative 5. That's going to give me 5. What can I combine on the right?
8x
8x and negative 2x, that's going to give me what? 6x. Perfect. I'm going to bring my variable term to the left, minus 6x on both sides. Negative 4x plus 5 equals 13. I'm going to bring my constant term to the right, minus 5 minus 5. Negative 4x equals what? 8. Morning. Step 6, divide by the coefficient, over negative 4, over negative 4. Boom, boom. What's my x going to be equal to here? Thank you.
I didn't get that.
You didn't get it yesterday? Okay. Here you go. Negative 2, that's right. 8 over negative 4 gives me negative 2. 1, many, or none? 1. Like I said in that lesson, most of the time we're going to get one solution because that is the goal. The goal is we get a number that x is equal to. Sometimes, not often, but sometimes, we'll get a true statement that'll be many solutions, and sometimes we'll get a false statement that's no solutions. But the normal answer, I don't want to say normal, the most common answer is one solution. All right? Any questions I can answer up to this point? Quick show of thumbs. How are we feeling about those first couple questions? Okay. All right. See mostly thumbs up, a few thumbs sideways. That's all right. Again, I highly recommend, especially if your thumb is sideways, that you go home and watch this video once or twice in preparation for the test tomorrow. There's probably some missing assignments you can get done to further your practice as well. Number 9. It's going to sound repetitive, but this is a repetitive process. I'm going to go through my 7 steps, the first of which being to distribute my 3. I get 3x minus 3 on the left, on the right. My left side stays the same. What can I do now? That's right, combine like terms. What do I want to combine? Well, I've got 2 x's on the left. Why don't I combine those? 2x minus 6x gives me negative 4x. Equals 3x minus 3. I'm going to bring my variable term to the left. Get negative 1x plus 4 equals negative 3. Right? Or none? No? What did I do wrong? When we subtract these, they're supposed to become a positive? You're on the right track. I heard someone say divide. We're getting closer. Tina, what did I do wrong? You're supposed to subtract negative numbers. Okay, so if I have negative 4 minus 3, that's not negative 1? What is it? Negative 7. Maybe it's just because it's early and we're still a little bit checked out, but if we're following along as we're going through this, as soon as I said negative 1, a red flag should have gone off in your head and realized that something was off. Maybe it took a second, and I did see some heads turn around as if I did something wrong, which I did. It's extremely easy to make such a small mistake that changes our answer completely. Continuing on to step 5, I bring my constant over to the right. The 4's cancel. I get negative 7x equals negative 7. Now I divide by negative 7. Dividing is always the last step. And I get x is equal to what? 1. One solution again. Over to 10. Picking up speed now. I'm going to distribute my 2 to the b and negative 4. I get 2b minus 8 plus 3 equals 5b minus 3b minus 8. Again, that's way too many terms. I should only have 2 on the left, 2 on the right. So that means I've got to combine. Is there anything on the left I can combine this 2b with? No. Can I combine negative 8 with something? Yeah, what? The 3. Negative 8 plus 3 gives me negative 5. Is there anything I can combine on the right? 5b minus 3b, which gives me what? 2b minus 8. What do I do now? Subtract 2b from both sides. These 2b's cancel out. What about these 2b's? They cancel out as well. What am I left with? Perfect. Is that true? So what's my answer? No solution. It's tempting when we get here to go, I must have made a mistake. Maybe it's just supposed to be x equals negative 8, and that's my answer. No. If you do the steps right, and you follow the steps in order, and this is your answer, the answer is no solution. Don't just make things up because you second guess yourself. Double check your work. Make sure it all looks sound and good. Just be confident with what you get. Now, number 11, we got to distribute 2 times, left and the right. I'm going to distribute 4 to my x and my negative 3. I'm going to distribute 2 to my 2x and my negative 3. I get 4x minus 12 plus 6 equals 4x minus 6. Some of you may already see what's about to happen here, which is awesome. What can we do on the left? Okay, that's right. Combine the negative 12 and 6. What does that give us? Negative 6. Right? If we have negative 12 and we're adding 6, we get negative 6 equals 4x minus 6. Bring my 4x to the left. Those cancel. What about these 4x's? Cancel again. Negative 6 equals negative 6. Hey, is that one true? Yeah, negative 6 equals negative 6, right? They're the same exact number, written right next to each other, with an equal sign in between. Of course it's true. So many solutions is my answer. Again, x is not equal to negative 6 here. That is not the case. Do not write that. My bad. Don't write it. I'm just trying to say that if we get a true statement with no x is present, many solutions. Finally, number 12. Step 1 gets skipped. There's nothing to distribute, but there is a fraction to break. I've got 3 and 6. What's my LCD here? 6. I've got a 3 on the bottom. What can I multiply 3 by to give me 6? 2. 2 over 2. Got a 6 on the bottom, 6 on the bottom. I'm left with 2x minus 5x plus 4 equals 3. Yeah. How is the LCD 6? Great question. So my denominators that we look at are 3. Oh yeah, 3 and 6. 3 is a factor of 6, so 6 is my LCD. What about the 4? Say that one more time.
It says 4 doesn't have an LCD of 6, so you just leave it like that.
Good, I'm glad you caught that, Devin. We forgot the 4 and the 3. We just dropped them down. Remember, like we said at the beginning, step 1, Darius face forward, step 1 of this is to turn everything into a fraction. If 4 has a denominator of 1, what do we need to multiply that by to give us a 6? 6 over 6. If 3 has a denominator of 1, what do we need to multiply that one by? 6 over 6. So it is not 2x minus 5x plus 4 equals 3. It's 2x minus 5x plus 24. 6 times 4. 24 equals what? 18. And that's messy, so I'm going to rewrite it so we can read it. Great catch, Devin. But again, that's a very easy thing to forget about. You have to include every term. Good morning. Come on in. I'll have you sit back here in group 9. I'll have you sit right here. And then we're almost done with this, and then we can talk. All right, I'm going to combine my terms. 2x minus 5x. What does that give me? Negative 3x plus 24 equals 18. I don't have a variable term to bring to the left. I'm going to take this constant and bring it to the right. Minus 24 minus 24. Negative 3x equals, what's 18 minus 24? Negative 6. What do I do last? Divide by what? Negative 3. Perfect. And we're left with x equals 2. Is it 2 or is it negative 2? It's just 2. A negative divided by a negative gives me a positive. How many solutions is that? One solution. That's all there is to it. Anybody realize while going through that they got at least some of those questions right all on their own? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, good. If you got some of those right on your own, you're in great shape. If you made some small mistakes, that's totally fine. Hopefully you understand what those mistakes are so that you can make sure you don't make them again tomorrow.